All right, let's get right to it this morning. A big dome of high pressure that's not all that strong is influencing our weather, coupled to the low pressure center. Now, this is the baby that's causing the greatest impact on our weather across the Bahamas and into South Florida, up across the eastern seaboard of the United States. It's producing some clouds. The pressure gradient lines are tight, and we're getting some windy conditions today. The big impact is the rough ocean swells, ragey conditions, and across Florida they call it rip current. We call it ocean swells and ragey conditions. The low pressure center, if we put this surface map in motion, you'll see the low pressure center is dipping south and is getting closer and closer to us. But by tomorrow it'll move further away. But today it's moving south, and these lines are tight, translating into some pretty windy conditions over the next day or so. Cloud coverage, not so much, but enough to bring a few sprinkles across the island. You got some clouds down across Paradise Island and off there near Rose Island. Some cloud coverage down near Clifton Pier and out by Lyford Key. The center of town is okay. And looking down to Cat Island, cloud coverage over your area. A few clouds down to Ragged Island as well. For the most part, you're going to see some blue skies across the nation today. Take a look at our radar summary. These showers are so light and quickly passing that they're not even being picked up on radar. Just have a few showers off the East Coast coming onshore to South Florida. Otherwise, we're pretty much in the clear, but that does not discount the light drizzle that you have been experiencing this morning. And with this wind coming in off the low pressure center, it's still a good chance that you might see another stray shower possible. Today's winds will be 20 to 25 knots. You are experiencing that now, north-northeast. Ocean swells is the order of the day. Look at coming out of Whale Key, it will be extremely rough. We're talking 10-foot seas out there. And coming across on the ferry today, take your motion sickness tablets if you seasick. Otherwise, you will throw up on that boat coming across to the Abacos today. There are white caps from the moment you leave Potter's Key. You'll probably see some white cap in the Nassau Harbor there. But it will get rough once you get out there. Also going on the Bohingi to Bryland, it will be not your smooth ride as you're customary to. You'll get some broadside swells as you make the trip across the Spanish Well and to Bryland. 20 to 25 knots, 20 to 25 knots from the north-northeast. Eleuthera, half of Eleuthera will experience 20 to 25 knots. From Governor's Harbor south, you're going to get 15 to 20 knots northeast to east, and then into Cat Island and the remainder of the Bahamas. The Exumas, 15 to 20 all the way down to Mayaguana and the Great Inagua. Taking a look at the tropics, there's nothing to talk about in the tropics. That is great news. No tropical cyclones. We are on the downside of the tropical systems. Yesterday I was talking to John Martin down there in Grand Bahama, and we reminisce on Hurricane Wilma that did so much damage, came out of nowhere, brought those devastated that shoreline there. And so we had a great chat with them about these tropical systems. And the folks in Grand Bahama said how meaningful this weather report is for them. They look forward to it every day, and they make their plans based on our weather report. Grand Bahama, thank you so much. All right, let's take a look at the forecast for tomorrow. High pressure continues with the center of the high around Atlanta. The ridge of the high comes down to the Bahamas, and the weather will be improving. The winds will be falling off as the low pressure continues to ride away from us. As a result, 15 to 20 knots, you'll start the morning, and late in the midday into the evening hours, 10 to 15, they'll be from the north-northeast. Again, you'll have it mostly up and down the coast of the Bahamas, 10 to 15 knots, albeit it will still be choppy, rough, because of the ocean swells that will linger. Even though the winds are light, general rule of thumb, is that if you take the wind speed and divide it by 3, you should get the wave heights. So you should have 3 to 5 foot seas based on 10 to 15 knots. That's not going to be the case. You probably have more like 5 to 7 foot seas out there tomorrow. So stay in the bay and inland waters. Don't venture too far out into the open Atlantic because it will be pretty rough out there. On Sunday, 10 to 15 knots, the wind's going to back around to the north-northwest, and we'll have a pretty nice day on Sunday. No rain in the forecast as you have these 10 to 15 knots up and down the coast of the Bahamas. All right, let's take a look at your boating forecast. 8 to 10 foot seas offshore today. It's rough. 20 to 25 knots. You're experiencing every bit of that. From the north-northeast, Whale Key, Rage Sea is on. Down at Cable Beach, coming down there, Saunders Beach, you will have Rage Sea. You'll have it splashing over the waters, over the bay there at the caves. Coming out down West Bay, you'll have some swells just breaking over the road there as you turn from the airport around the caves. You'll notice that they're pretty rough for the next day or so. Southern Bahamas, 20 to 25, 8 to 10 foot seas offshore. Low tides at 6:23, high at 12:39, and low tonight at 8:18 p.m.